In this video, we're going to look at the herringbone stitch in 3 different shapes: on a small leaf, in a straight line, and then on a large leaf where we stitch the top part and the bottom part separately. Let's begin. We're going to start with the straight line. Bring your needle up at the top. Move your thread to the right hand side. Now the needle will go in and out about that distance apart. Now I'm showing you just one use of the herringbone stitch here. So these distances that I'm showing you are going to give us one type of effect, but there's many different effects you can get by reducing the size of your stitch distances or enlarging it. For now, let's work with this. Thread comes out. Now we're going to go to the top. Needle goes in and out, and at the moment the needle is going in and out independently of anywhere else that the stitches sit. Once you've done these two, we're now going to bring the thread over to the right, and this time the needle is going to go in and come out where the previous thread went in. And from now on, the needle is always going to be going in and coming out where your last thread went in. At the top, bring your thread over to the right, and again come in at the bottom and out where your last thread went in. Once you get the hang of it, this is a very pleasant stitch to work with. Sometimes it takes a little while to get going, but once you've got it, it's yours. Now I'm going to fill that entire length of line, and you'll see what a lovely crisscross basket weave effect it gives. And I'm sure you can see already that if we tightened the stitches and made these distances, for example, instead of that wide, we brought it in that wide, the effect would be quite different. And the same if we increase the distance from, instead of there, to all the way, say, out there. You can experiment with this. It's a very fun stitch to work with. And I'm nearly finished. Very easy to finish off as well. My last stitch is going to go here. I put the needle through, pull it through, and tie off a knot at the other end. Beautiful effect. Next, we're going to do a small leaf shape like the one here, and you'll see the difference between doing a small leaf and a large leaf. We're going to start on the left hand corner of your leaf. Bring your thread up. Now, the way that we did before is, it was quite easy to follow because you were just going up and down. The leaf shape is a little bit more complex because we're not starting along a straight line at the top and a straight line at the bottom. It's a little bit hard to explain with words, but if you just follow my needle and thread, you'll get the gist. I'm going to start along the top line, bringing my needle in about 1 centimetre away and back out about 1/2 centimetre. So you'll see that these two distances are the same. Pull through and you get that. Now I'm bringing my thread over to the right hand side and then I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom line. In about 1 centimetre away, out about 1/2 centimetre away. Pull through, bring the thread over to the right, and now we start joining up the threads in and out where your last thread went in. Thread over to the right, needle goes in, comes out where the last thread went in. Pull through and just keep repeating. Now the stitches are exactly the same as if we were doing those 2 parallel lines like before. Remember to keep bringing your thread over to the right hand side, because then you get an even crossover effect. Now the size of this leaf is probably the largest that I would do in this way without separating, like we're going to be separating the bigger leaf later on. So later on we're going to do the top part of the leaf and then the bottom part of the leaf. When you have something that's only this size, this is okay to stretch it over the entire width of the leaf. It's not too big. Nearly finished. My last stitch is just going to go in to the corner and be pulled through. There we are. Okay, now we're going to do the larger leaf. I'm going to bring up my thread on the left hand corner of the leaf, and we're going to be doing these 2 shapes separately, half a leaf first and then the other half a leaf second. You don't want to have a leaf this size where you do the crisscrosses across such widths, because your threads end up getting a little bit loose when you've got such big distances. Same as before, we start on the top, going out about 1 centimetre, coming back out about 1/2 centimetre, pulling through. Now this time, instead of going to our bottom line, we go to the center line. Go out about 1 centimetre, come back out about halfway, and pull through. Always have your thread on the right hand side. Now we go back to the top and we start joining the threads. Over to the right and over to the right, and we continue this way until we reach the other side. Nearly finished. Coming back out and then just stabbing it through. Now if you were using a handheld hoop, it would be very easy to just turn the hoop around and begin on this side by bringing your needle back up and then continuing this way. But because mine is a stationary standing hoop, I have a frame that I've got my feet on top of, I'm going to finish my thread off here and then come back to the other side and begin from here. Okay, let's begin with the bottom part. Coming out. Now we're going to treat this center line exactly the same as we treated the top of that line before. But this time, because I've already got the stitches sitting in here, what I'm going to do is use these as guides to take my needle in and out through. So let's start at the top. I'm going in here and out here using both of the stitch guides from the top. And along the bottom we repeat the same before, out about 1 centimetre, in about 1/2 centimetre, pull through, and again using that stitch as a guide to go in and that one there to come out of. Half a centimetre away, coming out, and again into that stitch and out of that. Remember to be pulling your thread over to the right. Now when you use those existing stitches from before as your guides, you get a very neat finish where the top part and the bottom part of the leaf join up. You can see that they're all joining nicely. Kind of easy once you get the hang of it. Can be a little daunting at first, but once you do a few of these, you'll be flying with it. Whoops. Continue along, nearly done. The last one, and this one I'm going to finish off in here instead of in the corner. That's just where my needle happens to be, and now you get that last little cross, and there you go, our 3 different types of herringbone stitch: small leaf, straight line, and a large leaf made up of 2 halves.